Yeah. What's going on, my people? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, running back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys. Never, ever, ever in my life had an intro. Never in my life have I had an intro. And shout out to everybody in the chat telling me that Jalen Hurts got extended. We're going to get into some Sixers stuff, but I guess I'll just go over to Twitter real quick and see what that's all about. Let's look. Jalen Hurts extension. The Eagles and Jalen Hurts agreed to terms on a 5-year, $255 million contract extension that makes him the highest paid player. Oh my God. Hold on. I know we're talking Sixers, but bro, hold on. Hold up. Hold up, bro. Hold the front door. The Eagles and Jalen Hurts agreed to terms on a 5-year, $255 million contract extension that makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. The deal includes $179 million in guarantees and a no-trade clause. Woo! Wow. So first thing I want to say about that is, and for those that are tuning in right now to talk Sixers, just bear with me for a minute if you don't watch football. First of all, I don't know what you're doing, but the first thing I want to say about that is congratulations, Jalen Hurts, man. Congratulations, Jalen Hurts. Hold on. Wow. From when he was drafted to the whole Carson Wentz thing, to people not believing he could become a pocket passer, me not believing he could become a pocket passer, to the things that he did in just one off season. I mean, literally went from one of the worst pocket passers statistically, looking at like throws over 20 yards, throws in tight windows, things like that, to revamping his entire throwing motion in one off season, to revamping his entire mechanics, the way he moved his hips, where the ball came from, the speed that he got it out of the pocket, to working on his pocket awareness, he went from one of the worst pocket quarterbacks to one of the best in one off season. And all you guys have told me, you know what I mean? He can do it because of his work ethic, and he works and he can do it. And if anybody can do it, it's him. You were right. All the way that he works and his work ethic is exactly what did that, is exactly what got him there. So shout out to him for doing that in one off season. The second thing is, you know, I know the Eagles had to pay him. They had to pay him straight up. A lot of people were saying things like Jalen Hurts. You know, I think one of those WIP nerds wrote that Jalen Hurts is the exact guy that would possibly take less money to make the team better. Come on, bro. Stop it. Stop it. You know, you don't owe $1 billion corporation a dime. And if you put in the work and you get here and you do what Jalen Hurts did last season, you get every penny. Because I'll tell you who's not taking a pay cut. I'll tell you who's not taking less money. The guys in suits sitting up there in the box writing the check. So when people look at $255 million and they say, you know what the people are going to say, the people in public, the people at Starbucks, the people at wherever else that don't really watch sports, they're going to say, "Did you hear?" Or the old guys that grew to hate sports because they can't, they just can't develop or progress with everything. They're going to say, "Did you hear? $255 million. Wow. That is ridiculous. I don't think sports athletes should be paid like this." I always love that. I always love that conversation. And I always love this one too. You know, we should be paying teachers and firefighters $255 million. Well, unfortunately for teachers and firefighters, 30,000 people don't show up and buy tickets and jerseys to watch them, teach and fight fires. But that's another thing. But it is interesting too that the Eagles paid him that much money because they got some roster decisions to make. Clearly they cut some players, let some players walk and things like that because they knew they were going to pay Jalen Hurts. And it just is what it is. It's what you have to live with. You know what I mean? I hope it works out, obviously, as a Sixers fan, as an Eagles fan, Sixers fan, Philly fan. It makes me think to, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys when he was up there saying like, "Well, Dak got paid, so we're not going to have as good of a team." Like, we don't have a GM or an owner that would say something that stupid. But shout out to Jalen Hurts for that. The last thing is, I hope that they understand. I hope that Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman, and everybody understands that you now need to protect this player with your life. You need to protect this player with your life. No more 17 rush attempts against the Chicago Bears in a freezing cold game where the ground probably feels like concrete and you got his shoulder hurt. You know what I mean? Don't be out here treating this guy like Trey Lance, because now he's worth $180 million guaranteed dollars. I don't want to see a designed run play with Jalen Hurts in the pocket ever again. But yeah, shout out to Jalen Hurts. He worked here. He got here. He deserves every penny of that. And I hope the Eagles' game plan moving forward is to protect him, because we know he's a great running quarterback. But, now that he's worth $180 million in guaranteed, maybe the guys in suits will be a little bit more reluctant on those, designed run plays and things like that. He's not Trey Lance anymore. He's a top 5 NFL quarterback, and wow, he just got paid. Shout out to it, man. Thanks for hitting me with that. I appreciate it. So let's get back to business. Sixers Nets game 2 tonight at 7:30. Join us on Playback TV, playback.tv/runitbackphilly. You know the drill. You know where we are. We've been doing crazy numbers over there. We are one of the top rooms, the top streaming rooms, the top creators on Playback TV. So thank you guys for consistently tuning in. We had over 60 people last night just watching the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. And tonight, Sixers, Nets, game 2. Let's get down to business. So question for the chat. Let's just pop it off right here real quick. Can the Brooklyn Nets win one game? I know I asked the question before the series started. I'm asking it again because what you saw in game 1, if you thought the Nets could win one game and then you saw game 1, does that change the way that you think? Does that change the way that you feel about the 76ers sweeping? Does that change the way that you feel about the Nets and possibly winning one game? JS says if Cam gets 40, maybe. If Cam gets 40, maybe. You talking about Cam Johnson or Cam? I forget. There's a Cam Johnson and there's a Cam Thomas. Isn't Cam Thomas the one that dropped 46 on us off the bench? I'm going to still go with the Nets will take one game. I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to still go with the Nets will take one game. I just think there's going to be one of those games. There's going to be one of those games with a lot of turnovers. There's going to be one of those games where we shoot 25% from 3. There's going to be one of those games. There's going to be one of those games where Mikal Bridges continues what he did in the first half into the second half. He had 23 first half points in game 1. He only had 7 in the second half. That's because we adjusted. Doc Rivers and the staff adjusted to him. But, yeah, maybe the Nets switch it up. Maybe they do something. Maybe they have a game where they shoot 65% from 3. Maybe they have a 30-point off-the-bench game from Seth Curry, something like that. Maybe. I'm just gonna play it safe. Again, I think Doc Rivers did everything right. I think the Sixers did everything right, and the Nets forced Joel to move the ball. The Sixers hit a lot of three-pointers because of that. So I'm interested to see tonight if the Nets kind of do the same thing, if they run the same strategy. Double and triple in Joel right when he catches it to get it out of his hands and making, the Sixers move the ball again. The first time in Joel Embiid's career, he has players on the perimeter who can make a team pay for doing that. I just don't really think there's an answer for the Nets no matter what. If you don't double and triple Joel as soon as he touches the ball and you focus more on three-point shooters, Joel's going for 40. Joel's going for 50. Joel might go for 60 against Nick Claxton. So, we'll see. But I think I'm still going to go one game with the Brooklyn Nets. And there was a game during the regular season. Let me see. Sixers versus Nets 2023. There was a game during the regular season that went down to the wire. And I guess we'll just look at that one because if you're trying to give the Nets any hope of winning a single game in this series, we can look at a couple of games. Now, there was the one in February, I'm pretty sure nobody played. We smacked the Brooklyn Nets 134-105 in the last time we played them. That was the end of the season one where Cam Thomas dropped 46 off the bench, but Jaden Springer had a great game, and Mac McClung and everybody. February 11th. This one was 101-98. Let me refresh my memory right here. 101-98. Who was playing in this game? Player stats. Sixers. Get this ad out of here. What the hell was that? Joel had 37 and 13 in that game. Harden had 29 and 6. Maxey had 12. We didn't get much out of anyone else. That's a game where I felt kind of odd. I didn't think the Sixers played well, and they got carried by their stars, but that's what stars do. So that one was a close one, but that might be a thing that you can use to say the Nets can't win a game in this series because we played horribly in that game and we still won 101-98. The one in January, 137-133. Let's look at this one. This one is the one where Kyrie Irving and Seth Curry went off. Kyrie had 30. Seth Curry had 32 off the bench. Nick Claxton had 25 and 11. I don't know how in the world We let Nick Claxton score 25 points in a basketball game, but he had 4 offensive rebounds. I'm sure a lot of those points were off of offensive rebounds, probably at least 8 of them. He had 4 offensive rebounds. Maybe he had a bunch of putbacks. He was 91% from the floor, which tells me that he everything was right around the rim. Joel was in this game. He had 26 and 10. Harden had 23 and 7. Melton had 19. Tobias had 18. This was a game where Tyrese Maxey was still coming off the bench, and he had 27 off the bench. Again, I think that's like the best performance the Nets could possibly have against us, and we still won the game 137 to 133. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm just saying, if the Sixers play really bad and the Nets play really good, I still maybe don't see them winning a game. Really. Now, I know these games were before Mikal Bridges was here, but again, they had Kyrie Irving, who dropped 30 on us. They had Seth Curry, 32 points off the bench. Interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I'm arguing with myself right now. I'm saying the Nets can win one game, but then I look at the regular season games this year, and I'm seeing games where the Sixers played terribly, the Nets played great, and the Sixers still won. So, I guess, maybe they can't take one, but I'll still give them one. I'm still playing it safe. I'm still giving them one. Let's look at this. Not that. That's the Jalen Hurts stuff, which, by the way, thank you guys for hitting me up with that in the chat. That gives me good content, good little segment to post on YouTube separately, so I appreciate you. Thanks for everyone being here. Everybody in here, hit the like button, please. That would be greatly appreciated. Let's get down to this. Something interesting came out yesterday where Doc Rivers basically said that he played Montrezl Harrell the beginning of the regular season because James Harden wanted him to. And there's a couple things about this that's interesting. Here, it's Noah Levick on Twitter. After Game 1 versus the Nets, James Harden noted he's on the same page with Doc Rivers about who plays next to him when Joel Embiid sits. And obviously that's Paul Reed. Again, I think Paul Reed is a perfect rim running center for James Harden in those bench lineups, and I think it's been working great, and I think it needs to continue. And I was asking myself the whole season, why the hell was Paul Reed on the bench to start the season? Why the hell was Montrezl Harrell playing all the backup center minutes to start the season? And according to Doc Rivers, James Harden is the reason. And I don't know who I believe. Who do you guys believe? Do you believe this? Or is Doc Rivers, deflecting and placing blame elsewhere as he does a lot? Let's just read the article, I guess. We'll try to pick out the important parts of it. In the Sixers round one game victory, okay. James Harden said, Doc and myself are on the same page in the sense of in that second unit, who's out there, who's going to be playing on the court, and what we're trying to accomplish. We can't make it too difficult. And I think that group with Melt, J-Mac, George, and Paul Reed, we get it. Obviously, everything isn't going to be great, but defensively, we have to get stops, and then offensively, as much space as we can, and then I'll do all the work, and guys just be ready to shoot and make plays and finish. So James really gets to play that little Houston Rockets James Harden role with that bench lineup, and that's what they did the second half of the season. That's what they did in the month of March, and I loved it, and I hope they continue doing it. James Harden said tonight was a great example of that. That unit is going to be extremely key starting the second quarter, starting the fourth quarters. That's a big part of the game, and if we can manage it and be even or even take the lead, that's a bonus for us. Tonight was a great start for us, and we got to be even better in game 2. Doc Rivers says, Sixers head coach gave a detailed answer. How often does Rivers discuss these sort of topics with James Harden? Doc Rivers says a lot when we go with the non-Joel group, and let's be honest, guys, that hasn't been a great group all year, and we've been switching guys. Early in the year, James wanted no one else on the floor but Montrezl Harrell because he felt he was the better offensive player. We've tried to convince him that we need defense too with that group. You see what I'm saying? It's just weird that Doc says things like this because James' answer to the question wasn't like saying anything about Doc Rivers, and he wasn't saying anything about like a conversation. It's just really odd the way that he kind of slyly throws players under the bus when talking about coaching decisions or really anything. And maybe that's a way that Ben Simmons was right, where at the end of the year, Doc Rivers could have said something else versus I don't know if we can win with Ben Simmons at point guard, although it was absolutely true. It is just kind of odd how he's not very reluctant to just throw people under the bus. I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much of this. So I don't really have anything to talk about today before this game starts. But earlier in the year, James wanted no one else on the floor but Montrezl Harrell because he felt he was the better offensive player. We've tried to convince him that we need defense too with that group. If James said that, I don't even really think Montrezl Harrell is the better offensive player. I think Paul Reed's a better offensive player. He's a better offensive rebounder. He's obviously a better defensive player, better defensive rebounder. I think Paul in particular has kind of grown in James' confidence. That's important. I'm over it. No. I don't believe this. I don't believe this at all. I'm over. No. There's no way that we just watched Doc Rivers refuse to believe in Paul Reed for 2 years. Stand up there, sit up there in press conferences and argue with the media game after 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 game. And now he's going to sit up here and say, I'm the one that always believed in Paul Reed. I'm the guy. I believed in him. James Harden's the one that didn't believe in him. Come on, man. Bro, I didn't think this was going to be this crazy. I think Paul in particular has grown in James' confidence. That's important for James to be able to trust that he can pass it to him and he'll finish. And that Paul will make the right play, and that's what James had a major concern with. Wow. So you're telling me Doc didn't have a major concern with Paul Reed? Doc Rivers is, I just can't, bro, it's crazy. And this is why he was up here defending Ben Simmons day one, because they're the same person. They are the same person. It wasn't me. Somebody else's fault. It wasn't me. It was somebody else's fault. It wasn't me. It was somebody else's fault. Hold on a second. I pulled this up earlier, and I'm going to pull it up right now. Doc Rivers 3-run blown leads. Now, you tell me if you trust this person, okay? You just tell me if you trust this person. Where's the tweet at? Damn, where is it? I found it on Twitter. Hold on. I just need you to tell me if you trust this person. All right. Of course, I pulled it up on my phone. Now it won't come up here. Hold on. Do you guys remember Doc Rivers explaining all of his 3-1 leads? And now my web browser's freezing. Do you guys remember Doc Rivers explaining all of his 3-1 leads? Anyway, nothing's working. But the point is, Doc Rivers sat up there when someone asked him about his 3-1 leads, and he said, I wish you guys would tell the real truth, you know? Look at that Orlando team. Look at just go back and look at that roster. And we were against the champion Detroit Pistons. Okay, you were still up 3-1, Doc. You were up 3-1. And he went off on, just look at that roster. We had no business winning that series. You were up 3-1. I don't care what your excuse is. You know what I mean? Then he talked about the Clippers team, and he said the first year we were up 3-2. Chris Paul didn't play the first 2 games, and he was on one leg. That was his excuse, bro. You were still up 3-1. What does it matter who was playing the first 2 games? You won them. You were up 3-1. So he had an excuse there. And then he says the last one, we blew that one. We definitely blew that one. But that was in the bubble. And anything can happen in the bubble. He actually said this. This is the ultimate excuse maker in the history of all excuse makers. That's why he defended Ben Simmons so hard. They're the same person. They probably still hang out. It's just crazy to me that he just literally said, I'm the one that believed in Paul Reed. James is the one that didn't believe in Paul Reed. But either way, We're here now. And I like this because I don't feel like Doc can go back on it. Doc definitely loves Doc. Tim Starr, exactly. I like this because I don't feel like he can go back on it. So, however we got here, I don't care how we got here. I don't care who believed in Paul, who didn't believe in Paul. I don't care who wanted Montrez on the floor, who didn't want him on the floor. I know the truth, but we're here now. So we're saying James wants Paul Reed on the floor. We're saying Doc wants Paul Reed on the floor. Both of them are saying that. That changes my entire perspective on how far the Sixers can go in the playoffs. That changes my entire perspective. Because I was watching lineups of Montrezl Harrell and George Niang in the beginning of the season, and I could score on those dudes. Probably not. But Seth Curry was doing layups over these guys. And then he would play Paul, and Paul would play great, and then he would bench him again. So when I was thinking about how far can this team go, I was looking at Doc Rivers' decisions, how bad they were at defending the rim, especially in the non-Embiid lineups. And I was saying Doc Rivers is going to play. He's going to do something crazy. He's going to go, Paul Reed's going to make one mistake, and he's going to go with Dwayne Dedman, or he's going to go PJ Tucker at backup center, which let's not say that it's out of the question. I still wouldn't, trust Doc Rivers to watch my kid for 5 minutes. But he can't go back on it now. So that makes me feel a little bit better. If he does go back on it, then he's insane. But it is Doc Rivers. But I'm happy everybody's kind of saying Paul Reed is the backup center. We've all known this for such a long time. We get smoked on the boards. We get smoked in transition. We need that athletic lineup, and I'm happy that they started doing it at the end of the season, and I'm happy that everybody's kind of agreeing this is the lineup we should have on the floor when Joel's not out there. If we're being set up, we might be being set up. We might be being set up. But I think this makes me feel a little bit better. If he doesn't do anything crazy in the Boston Celtics series, and Paul Reed plays as good as he can play, now it's unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get from Niang. Maybe he goes goose eggs. PJ Tucker, I hope he keeps playing playoff PJ ball. Wow. This makes me maybe believe. Even though I don't trust him. This makes me maybe believe in the Sixers over the Boston Celtics in round 2. And I'm telling you right now, if Doc Rivers does the right thing and the Sixers beat the Boston Celtics in the second round, I will never slander Doc Rivers again for the rest of my life. You heard it here first. Shout out to everybody in here, man. What do you guys trust Doc on this? How do you feel? Is Doc telling the truth right here? Or is he just blaming James Harden because he's accepted the fact Paul Reed's the guy? But I can't tell everyone that it wasn't that was me that didn't believe in him. Harden doesn't decide who plays. Why is he throwing Harden under the bus? Well, because he's insane. That's the only answer to that, is because he's insane. He's Doc Rivers. There's never a dull moment. You never know what he's going to say. You never know who he's going to blame. It's just insane. Doc loves Doc. I always believed in B-Ball Paul. We all did, man. Shout out to Jay, what's going on? Doc not as bad because I watched Leonard and Paul George stank it up hitting the side of the backboard off an open shot. The Stars came up short. It's true, but once in a while, 1-3-1 blown lead is one thing, but if you always have really good players on your team and you always come up short, eventually it's the coach, right? Eventually, everyone's like, all right, you always have good players. You always come up short. Eventually, we're all going to point the finger at you. Paul Reed hints toward Doc tells you who believes in who. Funny that Paul Reed said Cap yesterday, too, when asked about, Doc doesn't care about his fouls. He was like, Cap. Ronald says, heck no, I don't believe Doc Rivers. Harden didn't pass to Reed early on when he rolled. How many Harden Paul Reed lineups really even were there in the beginning of the season? I'm thinking it was more like Shake Milton all bench lineup type of things. I don't feel like I saw a lot of Paul Reed and James Harden on the floor together at all in the beginning of the season. Doc is the coach, not Harden. It's true. But at the same time, when you have an 11, 12 year NBA veteran who has done some of the things that James Harden has done in his career, you're going to take his opinion into account, right? But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we're being set up or not. Who knows? Just interesting, man. I don't know. There's never a dull moment with this guy, man. Yesterday I tweeted, I was like, please stop interviewing this guy. But honestly, please keep interviewing this guy. Because I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I want to do a live show. What am I going to talk about? I go over to Twitter and it's right there all the time. He just keeps giving me stuff. He just keeps giving me content, man. Oh my goodness. All right, let's talk about the rest of the NBA for a second, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for hanging out. And for those that wanted to hear my opinion on the Jalen Hurts thing in the beginning of this stream, I went over it, and I'm gonna post it as a separate clip. Also, it'll be titled Jalen Hurts gets paid whatever. So that clip will be out. That clip will be out around 1 p.m. on the YouTube channel if you want to watch that. Let's go over to my Twitter page because I tweeted today my top 10, my NBA power rankings after one playoff game because a lot of crazy stuff happened yesterday, man. Players got injured. Teams aren't looking as strong as we thought they were. So give me your opinion on this. My NBA power rankings after one playoff game. Number one, I got to go Boston Celtics. I've thought that they were the strongest team in the NBA for this whole season. I have no reason to yet think that they're not the strongest team in the NBA. The Atlanta Hawks are not good, but I thought maybe they would put up some kind of fight in game one. They didn't put up a fight at all. They were down by 30 points at halftime. I stopped watching. People told me they blew most of the lead in the second half. I think that's just kind of, when you're a victim of your own whatever, when you're up by 30 at halftime and you start kind of taking it easy in the second half, then you blow the lead. I don't know if the Celtics went full bench lineup in the fourth quarter or something like that, but I got to keep Boston at number one. Number two, yes, I'm going Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm going Philadelphia 76ers for a couple of reasons still. The first reason is I've always thought the Sixers team stands a chance against anybody in the NBA, just not the Boston Celtics, for a couple of reasons. I think the Celtics are the only team that can slow down Joel. So I still got the Sixers at number two. Now you're telling me that everybody, Doc Rivers, James Harden, and everybody are agreeing that Paul Reed's the backup center and that these lineups of Jalen McDaniels, Paul Reed, DeAnthony Melton, and James Harden are very important. I agree with that. I think it's true, and I think if they continue to do that, they stand a chance against the Boston Celtics also, so that changes my outlook on it, but I still got the Sixers at number two. Number three, I got the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets took care of the Timberwolves last night. The Minnesota Timberwolves should not be in the NBA playoffs. I thought the Oklahoma City Thunder stood a better chance at putting up a fight against the Denver Nuggets than the Minnesota Timberwolves, but the Thunder fell short in that play-in game, whatever. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Crazy that the Timberwolves are as bad as they are after giving up 5 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert, but that's just what Danny Ainge does. He fleeces teams. He's been fleecing teams for a long time. The Timberwolves stink. The Denver Nuggets are going to sweep them. The Denver Nuggets are deep. They are healthy for the first time since they went to, the Western Conference Finals in 2021. Forgive me if my year is off. Ever since COVID, I literally don't even know what year it is. I got pulled over a couple months ago for an expired inspection. My inspection sticker said 2021. It was almost 2023 at the time. I don't know what year it is. But anyway, I got off with a warning too. So shout out to the Derry Township police officer for that. I got Denver Nuggets at number 3. I got the Milwaukee Bucks at number 4 because the Miami Heat beat them in game 1. Yeah, but the Miami Heat only beat them in game 1 because Giannis landed on his tailbone and had a, back contusion and didn't come back in the game, but he's not seriously injured. He was just in pain, and he's going to come back. And the Miami Heat lost Tyler Hero to a broken hand diving for a loose ball. So he's not going to come back for the rest of the playoffs. So the Miami Heat lose a player for the rest of the playoffs who's very important to their offensive arsenal, and the Milwaukee Bucks are getting Giannis back. So I still have no belief in the Miami Heat whatsoever. And if they prove me wrong, if Jimmy Butler proves me wrong or something, that would be crazy. But I got the Milwaukee Bucks at number 4. Number 5, I got the Sacramento Kings because they're just unbelievable right now. First playoff appearance in 17 years. The combination of Malik Monk and what do they call him? Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know. His name's not coming to me right now. Lefty point guard. Who is it? Drop it in the chat. And the addition of Sabonis, you know what I mean? That gives them rebounding. He's a facilitating center. He's one of those guys that really, holds together a team. De'Aaron Fox, thank you. Sabonis holds together a team and does things that don't show up on the stat sheet. And I think the Kings have a deep team. And I think they were the highest scoring team in the NBA this year. And I got faith that the Sacramento Kings can continue it going throughout the playoffs. So I got them at number 5. Golden State Warriors, I got number 6. If they're healthy, they could win the whole thing. Who knows? Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, everybody, Gary Payton Jr. The Golden State Warriors are always a threat to win the whole thing when they're healthy. So I got them at number 6. I didn't want to go, I got the top of the East up there. Then I look at the rest of the East, and it's, the Knicks and Cavs and, Miami, Milwaukee. I didn't want to put the whole Western Conference on here, but, I'll still throw the Cleveland Cavaliers in there. They disappointed me in the first playoff game. I thought they would be a lot better than they are with adding Donovan Mitchell. They fell apart in the second half. Maybe they'll come around. But after one game, I got Cleveland at number 7. Number 8, I got the Phoenix Suns. I got to put the Suns up there because they have Kevin Durant, but they added Kevin Durant. They traded Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and whoever else, whatever picks for Kevin Durant. And game 1, they lose to the Clippers, who don't even have Paul George. But I still don't know if I trust the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard looked great in game 1. Kawhi Leonard, when healthy, is always a threat to drop 30 on you. Monte Morris off the bench had 14. I think they got a lot of bench production. Russell Westbrook was 3 for 19, as Russell Westbrook seems to always be. I don't know. I think the Clippers, I don't trust the Clippers yet. So we'll see what the Phoenix Suns do moving forward. But game 1, they lose to the Clippers, but I still got the Phoenix Suns at number 8. Number 9, I got the Lakers. And I know in that one guy that called the show the other day, I said I would take the Lakers as a sleeper team to make it to the NBA Finals, but that is if they're healthy. Anthony Davis, game 1, hurts his arm. He's sitting here holding his arm saying, I can't move my arm. Looked like he had a separated shoulder. I don't know what they shot into his shoulder in the locker room, but he came back and played the rest of the game. They shot the same thing into his shoulder that they shot into Patrick Mahomes' ankle. Whatever it is, it's an illegal substance that the NBA lets them use. But I don't trust that the Lakers can stay healthy. And they won with Roy Hachimura scoring 29 points off the bench, and I still can't figure out how that happens. But if you're banking on Roy Hachimura scoring 30 off the bench, I don't have much faith in you. And then I got the Clippers at number 10. I don't have the Miami Heat in there because they lost Tyler Hero to a broken hand. I don't have faith in it. But there's my top 10 NBA power rankings after one playoff game. And it's still Boston and Philly to me. And I'm slowly gaining more faith in the Sixers because Doc Rivers basically publicly said he believes in Paul Reed. Suns at 8 is crazy. I haven't been the biggest, like, oh my God, you got Kevin Durant, you're winning the whole thing advocate in a long time. I haven't. They just lost to the Clippers last night. Durant had 27. Booker had 26. And Mikal Bridges, on the other hand, one of the players they traded for Durant, dropped 30 on the Sixers. So, does it end up being a good move? Or should the Suns have just kept building and letting Mikal Bridges develop? I don't know. I didn't mention the Knicks either because I never believe in the Knicks. The Knicks are the Knicks. I do think adding Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson is massive for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, obviously, the point guard they've needed for a long time. He brings organization. He brings everything. He brings a leadership organization to that team that for a couple years just looked like a bunch of random players throwing the ball around. You know what I mean? So Jalen Brunson makes them better. He was great in game 1. Josh Hart makes them better. He's just that exact, like, outside the box score guy. He's going to dive on the floor. He's going to get offensive rebounds. He's going to come up huge in big moments and, second chance points and hit some big threes. He hit a 3 after he sprained his ankle in that game. He sprained his ankle, limped up to the 3-point line and hit a big time 3-pointer with a hurt ankle. Josh Hart's huge, but to me, it's still the Knicks, and I just couldn't put them up in ahead of Clippers, Lakers, Suns, Cavs, Warriors, Kings, Bucks, Nuggets, Sixers, Celtics. I couldn't put them there. I feel like the Knicks, and I've seen them a couple of times this season, still find creative ways to lose games. I think they still have this one negative energy that is Julius Randle. I've always, just for the past couple of years, thought the guy was just a shot chucker. He thinks he's a superstar. If he makes a couple in a row, you're in trouble because now he's just going to start chucking. I think he shoots you out of games. I don't think he's good at understanding what his role is. I think he thinks he's the leader. He's the star of the team, and I think that hurts you eventually. But there it is. There's my power rankings after one playoff game. Players getting hurt on charges and people saying ban the charge. What do you guys think about that? Let's go on Twitter and find it. Ban the charge. This is interesting, man. First playoff game, something went wrong. Twitter is over capacity. Wow. The Athletic Zach Harper says the NBA should ban charges. So game 1 of the NBA playoffs, Giannis gets hurt on somebody trying to take a charge. Ja Morant gets hurt on somebody trying to take a charge. And the thing is, when players are going hard to the rim, it's these defensive players like Kevin Love, who's very good at taking charges, and Marcus Smart, who's very good at taking charges, who slide over and try to take a charge once the player is basically in the air, and it's a dangerous play. I don't know which side I see here. The Athletic Zach Harper says the NBA should ban charges. The charge isn't really a basketball play. It's really not, especially not anymore. Not with today's athleticism. The charge is a bailout call for the defense. There's two sides to this. First of all, if you ban the charge, Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to average 70 points a game. Ja Morant's going to average 70 points a game. If you don't allow the defender to try to slide over and get in legal guarding position to try to stop the offensive player, these guys, that just eliminates defense in the NBA. Straight up. You can't have that. You can't let Giannis just drive down the lane and nobody's allowed to slide over and draw a charge. What are you supposed to do then? You're telling me if Kevin Love is out of position and Giannis is barreling down the lane, he just has to move out of his way and let him dunk? So I can't see it that way. I can't see banning the charge. I also think it's the other way around. These guys who rely solely on athleticism are getting themselves hurt because instead of making a smart basketball move, they try to dunk on the whole team. I watched the play several times over and over with John Morant. He saw the player slide over. All he had to do was make a move. Euro step, take an extra dribble, plant your feet, pump fake. Instead, in his mind, he's Superman. In his mind, he's invincible. And he looks at it like you get, your pride is in the way. Your competitive nature and your, okay, bro, you want to do this? You want to slide over? I'm going to dunk all over you, trying to get a highlight reel. JS, exactly. And he hurt himself instead of making a smart play. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Mr. Run and Dunk. It's his whole game. He has a little bit of a game. He has a Euro step. He has a little bit of a bag. But really, it's charge down the lane as hard as possible and try to dunk on everybody. Get a foul call or dunk on everybody. But sometimes people try to draw a charge. I think the offensive player needs to be smarter to protect themselves. When Joel Embiid did it in game 1 the other day and got smacked in the face, that wasn't a player trying to draw a charge, but I'd rather him not be driving down the lane trying to hammer the ball. I get it. It's fun. I get it. It's a highlight. I get it. The crowd's going to go crazy. But I would rather you not charge down the lane at 100 miles per hour and try to dunk on everybody because you're going to get hurt. It's the same thing with mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. It's the same thing I was screaming about Jalen Hurts the whole season. And I think Jalen Hurts is very smart, by the way. I was getting pissed off at Nick Sirianni and everybody calling these design runs, but I used to say it with, Carson Wentz. He could never stop playing the way that he plays. He could never stop running outside the pocket, putting his head down and running face first into a 6'5" linebacker and getting, you're going to get hurt. We understand that's how you've played the game for a long time. You've succeeded like that. You got to change it up. You're going to get yourself hurt. These guys, they got to learn how to stay healthy, and they got to stop trying to dunk on everybody. So I see that side of it too. I think maybe the solution is to ban or, if a player slides over when an offensive player is already airborne. Because if the player's already jumping, then yeah, I don't think you should be sliding over trying to draw a charge by putting your body in front of his legs. So they got to implement something like when you try to draw a charge, you got to try to get in front of the player when he's still on the ground. If you slide over and put your chest up like this at a player's legs while he's in the air, maybe that's a flagrant foul, the same way running at a three-point shooter and landing under his feet is a flagrant foul. Maybe that stops players from trying to sneak in and draw a charge late when a player's already airborne, which makes it dangerous. Or you move the restricted area line out 2 feet. That stops players from sliding under guys who are jumping for a dunk. If they know the restricted area is out here, I can't draw a charge this close to the rim. Maybe that changes it. But I think what really needs to happen is offensive players need to get smarter and stop going for the highlight reel dunk. Stop trying to dunk on the whole team. Stop hurting yourself. But I understand kind of both sides of it, because when I see someone like Marcus Smart just slide over and put his shoulder into a guy's legs when they're airborne, Kyle Lowry type of players, I don't like it either. But you can't ban the charge altogether. Giannis is going to score 70. We'll see what they do. I don't know. I definitely kind of agree that something has to change. Something has to change. What else? NBA awards. I thought this was funny. 4 awards honoring top performers from the 2022-23 NBA regular season will be announced this week on TNT. Tune in 7 o'clock Monday to Thursday for the reveals. Why is there a schedule for NBA awards now? Didn't they do an award show before? And where's the MVP? Defensive Player of the Year is at 7 o'clock on Monday. Tuesday, clutch player. Wednesday, coach of the year. Thursday, sixth man. Are people really why is there a schedule like it's a TV show? Are people really like, "Oh, I got to tune in at 7 on Wednesday to see coach of the year"? Like, I just don't get it. And didn't they try to do like an entire award show before where they ran it like the Grammys, where it was like the 2023 NBA awards, and they had like a whole like the Oscars awards, which is just ridiculous. And it was like a 2-hour program. And what are we doing here? I don't understand stuff like this. It's like the All-Star game taking 5 hours. Like, nobody wants to watch this. Nobody wants to watch this. Nobody wants an award show. That's not even a thing anymore. Nobody watches the Grammys or the Oscars or anything like that. They wait for the 2-minute clip to come out on the internet. Give Doc his credit if we sweep. Ernest. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Give Doc his credit if we sweep the Nets? This Sixers team could sweep the Brooklyn Nets with no coach whatsoever. I'm not saying Doc isn't doing a good job right now. You expect me to praise somebody for sweeping this Brooklyn Nets team? Come on, man. If the Sixers beat the Celtics, I will give Doc Rivers all the credit in the world. But I mean, seriously, Ernest, I think you could coach the Sixers right now and beat the Brooklyn Nets. I do think that. But I do like his lineups right now. I like the fact that he's admitting that believes in Paul Reed. He blamed it on James Harden, which is weird to me. But, we'll see, man. Tune in tonight. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in today. This has been the Run It Back Philly live show. Every single day, I said 10 a.m. The times vary. Just stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram at Run It Back Philly. Follow me on Twitter at Run It Back Philly. Follow me on social media so that you know what time the live show is every day. Sometimes it's 10 in the morning. Sometimes it's 11. Sometimes maybe it's 12. Just stay up to date if you want to tune into the live show and be here when we do this. So, you can listen to me ramble at work or while you're driving or, whatever you're doing, man. Thanks for tuning in. Hang out with us on Playback TV tonight for the Sixers Nets Game 2. Playback.tv/RunItBackPhilly. Kastner, thank you for his super chat. He says PJ Tucker is unguardable. I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. What do you mean by that? PJ Tucker scores. I mean, it's got to just be a troll, right? PJ Tucker scores when other teams don't guard him because they're doubling and triple teaming Joel Embiid. PJ Tucker is guardable, but PJ Tucker needs to knock down shots when teams leave him wide open. Anyway, that's all I got, man. Thanks for tuning in. Rock with us on Playback TV tonight. I'll see you guys soon, man.